Starting it now. And then this needs to charge, right? So you want me, okay, this is a good charge. So I'm literally putting this. You want a time lapse, babe? You want a time lapse? Or you want to also review it so you can see how you present? What's the goal?
What are you talking about?
Do you want me to do a time lapse?
I don't know what that is. You say, like, what is it?
Oh, it's the one where it's sped up. So like you're just, never mind. I can't explain it.
I'm on.
Recording in progress.
All right. Good morning.
Hi, Kevin.
How you doing?
Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody?
Good, good.
All right.
Kevin, I made you a co-host, so you should be good to share your screen or whatever you need to do.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just a reminder, everybody, if your name doesn't come up as your full name in the meeting, if you could just change it to first and last name for meeting minutes, etc., that would be wonderful.
Hey, I'm sharing my screen, and when I go on, look, but when I go to play from start, it does this. I thought I could minimize it so I can look at the other screen.
Hold on, let me just wait. Escape out? Okay. Just hold on 1 second. Can you block your screen? Okay. What we trying to do? Just give me, you're trying to share this.
I'm gonna share that, but it doesn't let me share it as it full screens it when I put it at presenter mode. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. So you just need to share the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Boom. And then let me just do start and see what happens. I'm gonna share this slideshow. Okay, slideshow. Start.
See?
Hold on. Your screen share is paused. I'm gonna share it here. Let me just stop sharing for a second.
Alrighty, it's 9:31. I'm just looking to see
You
if
need
my
notes?
co-host
Yeah,
has
I
arrived.
Alright, so let me log in.
I haven't seen her. Okay.
I'll just do it right here.
But I see Bridget, so if there's announcements, she's.
Oh, Shelly's coming in now.
Okay,
Let
okay.
me give you the other. Just do it in the chat box. They can just tell them, hi, what is that? Alright, I'll tell them.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
I got it. I'm just doing it
Alrighty.
You can just.
So we're gonna get started. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We're really excited to have you. The planning group for the TAG meeting always works really hard to come up with a robust meeting and things that we feel will bring added skill, knowledge, and relaxation to your life. So it's going to be a combination of all of those things. My co-host Shelly is here. Shelly, did you have any announcements today that you wanted to make?
No real announcements, just a reminder that the updated One Key Question training series flyer has gone out. So if you haven't seen that and are interested or have folks in your continuum that need that training, please let us know. We can get you that flyer. And maybe ask Sheila to pop it in the minutes when she sends them out. And there's also an updated training on the DMIS LMS system on CAPTA and family care plans. If anyone is interested or needs updated training on that, you can just let us know and we can pop the date in the chat. And other than that, it's nice to see so many faces this morning, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Shelley. One of the things I wanted to announce, which is pretty new here at the consortium, is we launched a podcast station, and Alana's on here. I don't know, Alana, are you in the house? Do you wanna say a couple
here,
words
yes.
could you say a couple words about the podcast you and Marissa are doing?
Yeah, of course. So Marissa Padrona and I, who is our administrative training coordinator in the education and training department, recently revitalized our podcast. Primarily, we're interviewing trainers regarding kind of their upcoming trainings, but also their areas of expertise. So it's just kind of an effort to demystify and destigmatize conversation around mental health and to share some information from the amazing people that we have access to. And Hillary, who's on here, has one. Shameless plug. It's a great episode. Hillary's wonderful. So it's kind of an introduction to some of the amazing people that we work with.
Thank you. Thanks for that update. Alrighty, so with that, I know it's the holiday season is upon us and people get increasingly, I don't know if the rest of you do, you know, the stress level starts to go up and the amount of parties and fun go up, right? So it's a mix. Today, we have a board member from the consortium, Kevin Paulin from Winning Ways, and he's going to be talking to us shortly. But before I bring him on, I want to just tell you a little bit about him. Kevin is the co-founder and the executive director of Winning Ways, and prior to his position, Kevin held managerial positions at both Marrakesh, located in Woodbridge, Connecticut, and Columbus House in New Haven. He has 8 years experience serving demographics such as those experiencing with homelessness, intellectually disabled, and other mental illnesses. Those also who are experiencing re-entry from incarceration, veterans, and those experiencing recovery. In addition, Kevin holds the roles of serial entrepreneur that takes great pride in educating his community on financial literacy. One of the planning group heard him speaking at last year's NASW conference and recommended we bring him in for this talk. He has passion to educate those about the financial sector, and it's evident by receiving his associate degree in business management from Gateway Community College, as well as receiving his bachelor's degree in business management from Charter Oak State College. So I'm so excited for you all to meet Kevin Paulin. Take it away, Kevin.
All right, thank you for the introduction, and it is an honor to serve on the board for the consortium. So good morning, everyone. As you know, I'm Kevin Paulin, and I'm going to share my screen. And today we're going to talk about building bridges, financial education as a tool of social healing. Empathy and empowerment through financial literacy. So today we're going to go through the journey of financial empowerment, exploring how financial literacy can bridge the gap between social healing and self-sustainability. So I'll go through this briefly. Colette did a wonderful job introducing me. Only thing I'll just add is I'm a certified financial education instructor, which is a certification that I take pride in as I facilitate and oversee our financial literacy program through Winning Ways. Also, in a past life, I held a Series 6 of 63 license, which essentially gave me the ability to buy and sell stocks and allocate future and existing retirement plans, such as IRAs, 401ks, and all that good stuff. And I'm also a podcaster. I'm excited about the podcast, the Falling Up podcast. Check us out. Shameless plug as well. So I wanted to start today just to get you guys engaged. Oh, come on now. Just to get you guys engaged with what financial empowerment and financial literacy, what that looks like for you all, and as well as the people that we serve. So I want to start with a quick exercise of myth or truth. So the first one, let me know, anyone, and whether in the chat or if you want to come online, and by all means, please feel free to speak throughout this this presentation. I definitely want it to be interactive and engaging. So through myth or truth, the first one would be buying a house is always a better investment than renting. Is that a myth or truth? Not everybody all at once now. Okay.
I say myth.
Truth.
Okay, we got some mixed questions. Myths, truth, I like it.
We got some in the chat.
Yes, I'm looking at it now. And we have a couple people that are saying depends on the financial situation. So this is a myth. Decision to buy or rent depends on individual circumstances, market conditions, and personal finances. In some cases, renting can be more financially sensible than buying. So it's all where the person is at. So when it comes to financial empowerment, is really meeting with the person where they're at, what are their capacity, what is their goals, what are their dreams, how does it align? Does owning a home is a better investment for them? It may be a better investment in terms of equity, but it may not be a better investment in terms of where they're at financially, or where they want to go, or maybe they're looking to move in a year or so. Maybe buying something in this location isn't a good fit. So it's all different reasons, but again, it's all person-centered approach, and it's all depending on that individual. Now the second one, carrying a balance on your credit card improves your credit score. Is this a myth or truth?
Myth.
All right, we got myth.
Myth.
We got a couple. Well, again, it depends. I seen some truth. Myth. Okay. Depends. All right. All right. So the answer to this, drum roll please, is a myth. Carrying a balance means you pay interest and potentially accumulate debt. Something that I actually was misinformed early on, my early 20s, was carrying a balance creates a better relationship with the lender. This is not true. When you're paying off your balance, that demonstrates good credit management. And also, the myth really empowers the financial institutions, because no matter how big or small that balance is, you're paying some interest on it, unless you have one of those cards that have 0% interest for a year or 18 months or whatever that looks like. Unless you have that component of your credit card, more than likely you have an interest rate, and that's the name of the game. Credit cards, I always say, are a hammer, meaning they're a tool. They could build a house or they could destroy a house. So it's all about how you manage the credit card. And someone put under 30%. That is correct. You always want to have your credit card, when it comes to your statement dates, to be under a 30% threshold. But if you can have it at 0% without paying interest that next month or after that statement date, you're in better shape. So I want to talk about financial education and defining financial education. Again, I'm a huge fan and advocate for financial literacy, especially in impoverished communities. The lack of access is definitely tied to the lack of education and the lack of knowledge that many of the people that we serve just do not possess. So being able to educate them so they can make better decisions is one of my passions, and one of the things that I believe provides people with a higher quality of life and self-esteem and self-motivation and just empowerment to be a better them. So defining financial education is understanding financial skills. When we're talking about mastering personal finance management, budgeting, investment, credit, and retirement plans, those things are definitely essential when it comes to your quality of life. Essence, acquiring the knowledge and skills necessary for sustained financial well-being. Financial literacy is a lifelong journey. You know, no one, regardless of how rich someone is or how successful someone is, no one knows everything about financial literacy or finances as a whole. There's always new laws changing. There's always new policies being put in place. There's always new products. You know, 20 years ago, no one was talking about crypto. Now, crypto is one of those big things that get brought up a lot when I'm having conversations now. So with that said, there's always something new to learn. So it's empowering the people that we serve and letting them know, like, don't be overwhelmed because you don't know everything, because none of us do. Just our job is to give them the basics so they can build on that foundation. Empowerment, you know, being empowered to make better decisions, you know, simple decisions of someone getting employment and getting direct deposit compared to getting a check and going to a check cashing place. That adds up. You know, check cashing places are something that I do not promote. I don't think someone should be charged for the things that they earned. But that's one of the things that are very accessible in certain communities. And especially if you have, if you're not allowed to open up a bank account because you have a bad credit score, because you overdrafted and you're in what they call check systems, and now they're looking you up and they won't let you open up a bank account, or you owe child support. So there's this fear of opening up a bank account. So you go to these check cashing places, but it's understanding that there's other ways around that you can make these informed decisions so you can save money. And it helps promote independence and self-worth. Navigating systems, that's another thing when it comes to knowledge and education, just understanding how different products work, how different tools in the financial sector work, how what it means to, what annuity means, what that means when you're a certain age, understanding Social Security, just understand these different products, investments, CDs, so many. But understanding how to navigate through these different financial institutions and services. Financial understanding through healing and common ground. Building community. We're going to talk about this later on with peer support and credible messengers. Working at Columbus House, I've worked with people that had direct experience, or I had colleagues that experienced homelessness, and then I had colleagues that didn't. But through the common ground of what we're about to talk about soon, financial trauma, many of us share those common grounds. It may not be as extreme as being homeless, but being overdrafting your account or going to a store and having your credit card declined, those things are traumatic. And when we're able to build community and find that common ground, now we're able to build a rapport with the individual we serve, and that trust helps them trust in themselves to then make the right decisions. And sustainable communities, contributing to economic health and preparing for adversity with resilience, having a savings account, emergency savings in the case of things happen in life, having an emergency fund to save and to be able to be prepared for the things that we don't plan for. So I want to do an exercise, and it's an empathy exercise. As I mentioned earlier, many of us have experienced financial trauma, one way or the other. What I want you to do is take a few moments, close your eyes, and visualize a scenario where you felt financially vulnerable. Was your bank account overdraft when you were in college? Did your credit card decline? Have you experienced eviction? Anything along those lines that deal with finances. And as you take a few moments, I want you to go back to how you felt when you went through those moments. How you felt when you experienced those traumatic events. And there's no too small or no too big. It's how you felt during those times. So I want to take a couple moments for you just to self-reflect internally on how you felt during those moments. All right. Would anyone like to share? Please don't feel forced to, but if you would like to, would anyone like to share a moment where they may have experienced financial trauma? Yeah, absolutely. 100%, Allison. Anxiety, fear, depression, all those things, all at once. It all happens at once. Absolutely. For me, just to be transparent, I went through financial trauma to the extreme extent of being homeless. There was a time where I was I didn't have a place to live, and I was couch surfing, and even at times outside all night because I didn't have a place to go. And as oh, thank you for sharing, ladies. And that anxiety, that fear, that depression, that lack of self-worth was certainly evident through my decision making and through just how I felt about myself. I just didn't think I was worthy, and I was able to, you know, to overcome that. But during that time, that experience helped me build empathy for those that I serve, and it gives me a sense of community, using, as I love to say, turning that poison into medicine and turning that experience into a mission to help others. And I'm gonna just go through a couple of these in the chat. These are all great examples. Thank you for sharing. My son just started college. Absolutely. Yeah, you ain't lying. When my husband was laid off, yes. Living paycheck to paycheck without savings, absolutely, and that happens no matter how much you make. You know, that is something that is so common in our communities. Stupid because I was really ripped off by an ex who forged my name. Scared, hope people would invite me for dinner. Wow. Yeah, that's a great example of trauma and healing through that. You know, is very important. When I got I owed the Fed income tax up to 48K. Absolutely. Major life change. Left the job in Cali to be back with family. The move cost so much I was unemployed for a while back home, feeling scared and alone. Comparison, self to others, and feeling low. Yes. Felt lost and hopeless. Absolutely. That and all these examples and all these feelings are what our client goes through, are what the individuals we serve go through, being homeless or experiencing substance abuse, or going through that journey of recovery, or coming home from incarceration. For some men and women, having child support, making them feel as though they're inadequate because they can't keep up with their child support. You know, all those different things are real life situations that we all can relate to. So I did this empathy exercise to discuss financial trauma and the power of empathy. You know, financial trauma is an emotional wounding that happens as a direct result of something to do specifically with money. And all the examples that we just went about are all great examples of financial trauma. And with that is understanding that financial trauma is beyond money. Acknowledging deep-seated history, personal narratives behind financial trauma, understanding redlining and systematic oppression that happen in communities all over this country. Not being able to buy a home because of the color of your skin, or on the other side, owning a home and having to sell less because of the color of your skin. I was just at a conference in Houston where there was this real estate person that was talking about how they're changing legislation on, and they're encouraging more people to be appraisers, because people prior to getting appraisals, they would strip their house of any pictures or anything that would show what culture they represent or what ethnicity they were. So just so that the appraiser would appraise it at the proper amount, but no one should have to do that. If the house is in great condition or good condition, you shouldn't have to hide who you are as a person so you can get the appraisal that you believe you deserve. But these things happen. Empathy is a tool. Utilizing and understanding how that individual feels in that moment is such a powerful way to connect, way to establish rapport and establish trust. You know, addressing the past, recognizing how past experiences with financial hardship affect present behaviors and attitudes, understanding the impact of slavery, understanding the impact of single parent homes, specifically single mothers, how that's generational, how that learned behavior goes down generation to generation, and just addressing that because you have a poor credit score, because you made some decisions financially, doesn't describe you as a person. You just made some mistakes, or you just, not even mistakes, sometimes you just don't know, and you are under the impression you're supposed to do something a different way. And that doesn't describe your character, that just describes an event that happened, and how can we build on that and improve that and move forward. And again, building trust, as we already spoke about. So I'll go through this briefly, empathy in action. I think I touched on this just now, demonstrating empathy, active listening. I think, giving full attention, acknowledging, and I know you all on this call are amazing at what you do, and I know this is one of the foundational skills that we have when working with clients, but it's just making sure that we do that, making sure that our clients feel heard, and not judged. That active listening, that compassionate service is so important when we're talking about, empowering the people that we work with, motivating them to be self-sufficient and to change the way they think about themselves and about finances. And understanding the backgrounds, as I mentioned, a few different past situations or events, like redlining, systematic oppression, mortgage discrimination. All these things play a role in how people think. A lot of my work is working with people coming home from incarceration, the reentry population, and so many do not trust banks. But when you ask them why, they're not able to articulate it. They just know that they were told when they were young that putting your money in a shoebox is safer than putting it in a bank. And though those stigmas have been approached and a lot of those things have changed, there is past evidence that shows that banks or financial institutions took advantage of people from different backgrounds, and people did lose money without it being on them. So there is reasons, and there are things that happened in the past that create these decisions that people don't even know why, but they know not to trust them. So it's understand those backgrounds and giving them that grace to do what they have been doing, and then empowering them to look at other options to empower themselves. So overcoming barriers to financial wellness. There's so many when we're talking about anyone. I think from poverty to upper middle class, there's always an obstacle to get to, well, not always, but a lot of times there's obstacles that stand in our way to getting to that next level or to that next step that we may want to go. But specifically talking about the people that we serve, again, recognizing these obstacles is a great way to build rapport and a great way to create a safe environment when someone doesn't feel like it's on them because of past decisions that may be haunting them now on their credit report, or as someone mentioned, someone forging their signature. those things are very impactful when we're building rapport and building community. Service gaps. I think financial education. I am biased. I have no problem to admit that, but I do think that financial education, financial literacy isn't taught enough, regardless of what age or what stage that people are in. I've met with organizations, and I won't say organizations' names, but I've met with organizations in the state of Connecticut looking to provide financial services or financial literacy classes to clients, and they flat out told me I don't think they would understand that. I think that might be too advanced for them, and I think that having that mindset is where foundationally is a huge problem. Regardless of where you're at, when you're in this community or when you're living in this country, having the bare minimum of financial literacy is a big difference in the quality of life. And to say that someone wouldn't understand or don't even survey them to see if they even want it, I think does a disservice for them. So I think having financial education, financial literacy, financial empowerment as a part of education, as a part of services, is a huge step towards raising the level of quality of life of the people we serve. Thank you all for putting please keep putting into the chat section, putting your comments in there. I appreciate it. I definitely am grateful for the engagement. And Sharon said, I believe it should be taught in every grade, starting at 6th grade until associate's degree, especially in underserved communities. Absolutely, I second that. I really think access is directly tied to education, and when we're not providing the education, now we're denying the access. So absolutely, I'm with you. Scarcity versus abundance, understanding how limited resources influence financial perceptions and decisions. I'm big on talking about scarcity mindset, abundance mindset. Both are a lot of times are influenced by both nature and nurture. I'm going back to college, I'm going to psych classes, but having those understanding that it's not a right or wrong thing to have a scarcity mindset or abundance mindset, but just seeing where people are at, to recognize where they're at and giving them other avenues to explore that may help them lean towards an abundant mindset. I think one of the things that, and we're going to talk about this a few slides from now, but one of the pushbacks with financial literacy when serving our clients is, oh, I get Social Security, I don't need it. And it's like, yes, but that is capped. There are programs like Ticket to Work. You can invest in the stock market, and we're going to talk about Robinhood in a little bit and those different type of apps. You can do other things that can get you income that won't affect, that won't affect what you're getting through your benefits, as reporting those things, these different things that, yes, if you hit a certain milestone, you no longer get these benefits, but you can do stuff to supplement your benefits so you can maximize your income. Or you can go into a mindset of, this is a temporary income stream, and if I keep doing this, or I follow this road towards raising the level of income, I don't have to stay on Social Security. I can, in fact, make more money than Social Security could ever give me. So it's having that abundant mindset and having the understanding that you can. And I think a lot of our clients settle at that Social Security minimum, which I'm not saying isn't very beneficial. It certainly is, and helps people have housing and bare necessities. But we can strive for more, and we deserve more. And when we understand that, then we're aware, and we start seeing different opportunities that we may not have seen if we only thought this is all we should be getting. And then pathways to prosperity, charting routes. Overcoming these barriers, fostering a mindset of abundance. as I just spoke about. All right, I got some more. I got another challenge for y'all. So a mindset challenge, all right? So I want you to take a few moments to think of a recent financial decision. Think of a recent financial decision that you made, no matter how grand or how small. Where were you in mindset when you made this decision? Were you in a decision were you in a mindset of abundance, or were you in a mindset of scarcity? Did that mindset influence your decision? And looking back, would you have done something different to make that decision, whether it was good or bad? Do you think abundance was a bad decision? Maybe you're overspending, because there's definitely pros and cons in scarcity mindset and abundance mindset. For me, for sure, my fiance definitely says I'm the shopper, and I'm the one that spends the most money. So abundant mindset may not be always a beneficial thing. Again, scarcity doesn't have to have a negative connotation. You know, budgeting and saving is absolutely a skill that my fiance is the one that advocates for. She's the one that budgets and has these awesome spreadsheets. So with all that being said, I want you to think, what was your mindset when you made that recent financial decision? And I'm gonna give you a minute just to think about that. Yeah, that's right, need versus want. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit because I think I missed some comments while y'all are thinking of that. I have a separate savings account my husband doesn't know about because I'm scared that if we ever separate, I will be okay for a few months without his income. Yeah, that's real life. I've seen I've seen a family members that got a divorce, and well, they didn't get a divorce technically, they just separated. But one person paid all the bills and didn't save while the other one did. And when they separated, the person that paid all the bills really struggled financially. Not in the moment, but just struggled about retirement and that how that went. So I get it. I was in the mindset of scarcity, but it became a necessary decision. Although still scared, had to do it anyway. Understandable. Yes. With holiday spending, I feel like I am in both mindsets. Abundance because I want my children to feel special on Christmas, but also scarcity because I shop around for the best deals and only buy things on sale. I think that's a thank you for that, Nicole. I think that's a great example of that balance of scarcity and abundance. You know, seeing your kids unwrapping those gifts is what better feeling is that, just to see their smiles on that morning, but also keeping it within budget so January doesn't get rough. So absolutely. Scarcity transferred money to savings account. Was in an abundance mindset. Amazon Amazon is the devil. Yeah. That's a good one. I would no comment on Amazon. Rosanna, thank you. I am a single mother of 2 little girls with 2 jobs and 1 special child. I had to quit one job to spend more time at home with them and not work 7 days a week, but I'm scared I will fall financially. Understood. And I think that's where budgeting comes in, and being creative with income. You know, there's so many different ways to make money at home, especially coming out of COVID. So, you know, it's doing that due diligence, doing that research on different ways to get income, budgeting, cutting some stuff that You may have to sacrifice momentarily until the ship rides, till the ship, settles. But yeah, that's definitely a tough situation, and I empathize with you. More often an abundance mindset, but if I have to make changes to bank stuff, I start to panic. I could easily put the money under the mattress person. I could easily be a put the money under the mattress person. Yeah. I think it's very overwhelming. Just financial institutions. Bank tellers are usually nice, but I think one thing that's not all banks, some banks, but the minority of banks educate their customers. Most banks are, hey, what you're here for? I got you. You have to ask what you want. It's like going to get your hair done. You're telling the hairstylist what you're looking for, but sometimes, or some really good hairstylist will then tell you, I think you'll look good with this, or maybe you should do that. Put this treatment in, or get this cut, or whatever that looks like for whoever, what kind of hair you have. But it's having that knowledge that you have the confidence to say, hey, I need you to do this, and this, and I want to get this, and that. So yeah, definitely. So thank you all for sharing. Again, appreciate the engagement. So shifting mindsets. Oh, sorry. Oh no, we is moving. Sorry about that. So shifting mindsets. I do want to say though, I do feel as abundant mindset, or that balance is very important. So with this slide, it kind of insinuates that we should change from scarcity to abundance. I think that a lot of the individuals we serve stays in a scarcity mindset based off the decisions that they make, and not knowing the access that they can have if they change a few things. One thing I'd say about credit, you don't need a lot of money to improve your credit. You just need discipline to pay on time. But people think they need a lot of money to save, or they need a lot of money to build their credit. And you really don't. You can start from a small amount, and that amount accumulates. Compound interest is the ninth wonder of the world. When we understand compound interest and putting money into our 401k, or putting money into our 403b or our IRA, those different things accumulate, and interest continues to build on it. And just understanding those things isn't equated to where you're at in the moment, but it's equated to the decisions that you make and the actions that you take. So, and I think, when you're in a scarcity mindset, a lot of times you don't want to do the planning or the decision making, financial planning, or the budgeting or decision making. And when you're thinking of abundance, I want people to understand that that's more of the actions that we take, and more of the things that we're looking to do to improve our financial situations. So I alluded to this earlier. Leveraging lived experience and credible messengers and peer support. Credible messengers, as I mentioned before, as I shared, I have experienced homelessness. So working at Columbus House all the years I worked there, building a rapport, or saying, hey, I know what you've been through, definitely was advantageous. Definitely helped me provide services to the best of my ability, and really build rapport, and really empower people while I worked there for those 6 years. However, this comes back to our empathy exercise. No matter how, and I'm saying this in quotations, big or small your financial trauma may have been, financial trauma is financial trauma, right? So we're able to, we're able to, you know, we're able to relate, we're able to empathize, to understand what that person is going through. And we may have not been in a shelter, or we may have not, you know, been experienced these different traumas, but we experienced going check to check. We've experienced making decisions or being taken advantage of, or experienced fraud and identity theft and all these different, you know, financial trauma events, and or just having our account overdraft or our credit card declined at the supermarket. All these things put us in that feeling of anxiety and depression and fear. And it's understanding that, knowing how that feels is such a powerful way to build rapport and to empower someone to say, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. And I think that's where Credible Messengers our strength is at. But again, sometimes I don't want it to make it seem like, you know, you have to have been homeless to work at Columbus House. No, not at all. It's just understanding that, you know, tapping into yourself and reflecting through the things you've been through can build this powerful tool of empathy. So, you know, peer support dynamics, again, you know, Credible Messengers, people that have been through it, I think those having those pieces in these programs are so advantageous. One of the things that I do, because again, we work with different populations. Our first and main population is reentry, but we also work with recovery, at-risk youth, and underserved communities at Winning Ways. And I've been blessed to be able to hire people that have financial backgrounds, that may have not experienced incarceration. And then I've had people that I've been able to hire that have been incarcerated. So having that credible messenger and having that person that has the financial experience and meshing them together in one class creates this dynamic of getting the best of both worlds, and really trying to maximize our impact when we're working with our individuals. So, you know, just understanding that both sides are very valuable, and when you're able to pull them together, sky's the limit when we're talking about empowerment and being able to make impact. And again, authentic connection. Those authentic connections, empathy creates that. And I think that's one of the things that we always need to highlight, one of the things we always want to lean on when we're providing services. So executive functioning and financial decision making. So the core of decision making, when presenting executive functioning, you know, is making informed and strategic financial choices, is making decisions that short-term and long-term impact you in a positive way, is being educated to make those informed decisions, right? Is these skills are imperative to raising the quality of life and raising one's financial situation, or raising out of a terrible financial situation. I believe there is no financial situation too big to overcome. I think the lack of resources or lack of access or education can make it feel impossible. But when you're able to gain that access or gain that education, you're then able to make these decisions that can, you know, impact you in a positive way. You know, thinking of different strategies to strengthen cognitive abilities like planning, focus, and flexibility in financial context. One of the things that we do, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, is we do a financial service plan. So at Winning Ways, we do a 5-session, usually 5 weeks, but there has been times where we would do it 5 days straight, depending on the program. So for 5 sessions, we meet with a class of individuals to present financial literacy. And in the 5th week, You know, we do our post surveys, we do our assessments and all that good stuff. But one of the things that we do is offer a 6-month follow-up to the individual. And through that follow-up, we do a financial service plan following SMART and giving goals and tasks, or giving a goal and aligning tasks for both the participant and the facilitator, or case manager rather, to work on to, you know, accomplish said goal over the 6-month span. By doing this, we aim to support the individual and give them long-term support, rather than doing a class for 5 weeks or doing a presentation like this and then, you know, just saying, hey, see you later, hope life goes well. We don't want to do that. We really want to see impact. And what we realize with financial education is having that support. And again, financial literacy, financial empowerment is a lifelong journey. You're always learning something new. And having that support, or having that safe space where you can ask a question that you may have heard or may have run into a week after the class or a month after the class, I think is so key to having someone reach their goals and raise the bar of success when it comes to finances for them and their family. You know, a lot of time we go over so many different things, like from life insurance to identity theft to child support to FAFSA. We talk about that, budgeting, credit report, everything you could think of. And it can be overwhelming in terms of all this information. And I have a question, but I'm getting flooded with all this information, so I don't remember the question I had. So we really look to open up those avenues and open those lines of communication in efforts to support the individual as they continue on their journey towards financial empowerment. So, you know, these just having these plans and having these conversations, these person-centered approaches, is a great way to then help the individual overcome that anxiety or that feeling of being overwhelmed when it comes to going into a bank, as someone mentioned earlier, when it comes to planning or come to budgeting. You know, those are the things that we look to do so they can find success. And, you know, through executive functioning, you know, the improvement in outcomes. One of our things that, and I'll say this because it is you know, funders do like to see this accomplished, but I've been given a little bit of pushback, and that's opening bank accounts. What we've been able to do is work with Bank On, like the Bank On program, COS, Money School, Connecticut Money School, and now we've established our own relationships with different banks such as Key Bank, M&T Bank, Liberty Bank, Thomason Bank, just to name a few that we have relationships with now, that we bring them into our classes depending where we're at in the state of Connecticut. We bring them in and we offer the ability to sign up for safe and affordable checking accounts, which basically means that you won't receive any overdraft fees. If you don't have it, then you ain't got it. You know what I mean? So you're not at that $19, something costs $22, you say, I'll swipe it, and the next thing you know, you get the thing for $22, but now you get, in every 3 days, you get hit with a $45 overdraft fee, and now you're in a hole, and now you're overwhelmed, and then, you know, you may make a decision, say, hey, I don't want to pay this. Now your credit score hurt, now you can't open a checking account at another bank. These things happen. They happened to me in college, you know. So I say that to say that I am still an advocate for opening up those safe accounts. However, what I do now is, because I don't want to feel salesy, I don't want it to feel like, hey, Thomason Bank is here in Waterbury, sign up with them today. I don't want to do that. So I give them access to say, hey, Thomason Bank is one of the banks we work with. Whatever bank you feel comfortable with, by all means, I just hope you get a safe and affordable checking account at any one of these banks and take advantage of that service as you build your credit, or as you build your savings, or as you build your financial literacy foundation. So I am an advocate of getting bank accounts and establishing a relationship with financial institutions. You know, that's another thing too. Just going back to the person that mentioned being overwhelmed going into a bank, it's definitely overwhelming going into the bank. But when you build relationships with people in the bank, they're just like me and you. They live right down the street. They live right around the corner. They go to the same supermarkets, you know, and these are the people that can help you get access when you're starting a small business, or you're looking to buy a home, or you're looking to, you know, save some money in a CD. You got a lump sum of money from Social Security. You got a back payment from Social Security. There's a big lump sum of money. You're not sure what you want to do with it. Hey, let me put this X amount of dollars into this CD for 6 months as I decide what's my next plan of action. So not only am I earning interest, I'm not have the pressure of this money burning in my pocket, right? So, you know, just understanding those relationships, you know, building these rapport, it starts with opening up a checking account. And the education that I hope banks give our individuals is huge, because when they do that, they're informing them, so now they can make better decisions. All right, so I know I mentioned SMART. Before I get into you know, goal setting and tracking, does anyone have any questions?
I had a question about the classes that you were talking about. So for people in the area where your agency is located, are they able to sign people up for these courses? And how would that, is that something that's open to folks that are on the call?
So at the moment, no, unfortunately. And that's the thing that we're looking to do, or that we are doing. We're going for more funding through grants and fundraising to open it up to more people. What we've been doing is establishing relationship with organizations. Like, for example, speaking of New Haven, we work with Emerge, CT. We have an MOU with Project More, and we through these collaborations, we go into their facilities, and the classes are only accessible to those in the program. What my dream is to see in the next year is to establish more funding, that we can have classes in an open space, that anyone can access these classes. But at the moment, that's just been our strategic plan, is to partner. You know, we only started, we're relatively young. I don't want to say new. We've been around for a little bit, since 2016. But we're still young, so that was like our way to break into the nonprofit sector, was to build these relationships and then leverage those MOUs to get funding. But I think right now we're in a good place where we're offering those services throughout the state through these larger nonprofits, and would love to establish classes for the public. So it doesn't have to just be exclusive to the providers' clients. I do not have any partnerships in Torrington. Well, no, I don't have any active partnerships in Torrington, but I was on the Waterbury reentry call the other day, and forgive me, I can't think of the person and the organization. I have a call with them next week, but there is a organization in Torrington that did reach out to us. But no, the full disclaimer, we're looking to do work all over the state. We are open to travel. We don't have a large enough location to host classes. Our office is in Branford, but it's a small office. So we definitely could use our business plan in terms of our strategic plan, where we go to facilities, or we go to your location and conduct these classes, we're definitely open to that. And again, you know, the goal for 2024 is to get a brick and mortar where people can come to us as well. But yeah, I'm certainly open to working anywhere throughout the state. Do you believe in spiritual or faith-based principles, abundance versus scarce? That's a great question. Specifically, no, in the sense of I don't lean towards any religion or spiritual, how can I say this? Or spiritual, like, teaching. I try to keep it, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. I try to keep it in a way where no one feels a type of way, because, you know, we serve such a vast and diverse population. Personally, I do, well, indirectly, I should say, not personally, indirectly, yes, to answer your question, I do, when I said, you know, turn the poison into medicine, scarcity and abundance, those things have come through teachings. I grew up in a Christian household. Both my parents are pastors. So I come from a family of philanthropy and giving in the community. That's all I know. I am and then it's, Thanksgiving is very funny in my house because I am a Buddhist. For anyone familiar with SGI USA, I am a part of that. There's a center across from Gateway in downtown New Haven. So, you know, again, turning poison into medicine, I heard that first when I first was introduced to Buddhism. So I definitely indirectly do it because I think those lessons is what helped shape myself and essentially the influence onto all of our classes, because we offer more than just financial literacy. But I don't directly say it just to not ruffle feathers, for lack of a better term. You know, just I never want anyone to feel uncomfortable. All right. Thank you for those questions. So navigating success. I'm gonna go through this briefly, just based off of the audience and what I've already spoken about. You know, SMART, goal setting and tracking. I'm sure you all understand what that is and what that looks like. But again, through our financial service plan and in essence any service plan, you know, that SMART goal setting and tracking is vital to creating a plan, to creating a budget. So for us, we really meet the person where they're at, you know, and we say, hey, what are you looking to do in 6 months? Sometimes it's as simple as starting a bank account, which, you know, hopefully we can do in less than 6 months. Or it could be from, you know, starting a small business, buying a house, getting a car. We really, one thing I stress, we do have a workforce development program called EYE, Elevate Your Employment, where it's a career mapping course helping people, you know, find their passion and aligning it to a career. So I say that to say that I do wear an employment hat at times. Most of my time at Columbus House, I was doing employment services. And I really, when we're doing a financial service plan, I really stress to the staff that I have is to where we don't do employment when it comes to this. We don't do housing. There's other entities that do. Let's refer to them and let them do what they do. Let's not step on their toes, because this is not what this is. And I think a lot of times with financial planning or with SMART goals when it comes to the financial service plan, it's real easy for someone to say, hey man, I need housing. Especially if someone just coming home, they're in a halfway house, they don't have housing established yet, so they're looking for that, or they don't have a job yet, so they're looking for that. And it's real easy to real easy to go into that rabbit hole to assist that person in that. And if I have a job lead, or if I know some landlords, or really what we should be doing is referring to other services or other service providers to provide those services. But I really stress to my staff is to make sure you do that. This is not a housing or employment services. Those are separate things. And again, I think you could really go into that rabbit hole fairly easy, because the first thing we think of, especially when we're coming out of homelessness or recovery or reentry, is that housing employment. And though they're very important, that's not what this is. Tracking progress, super important. I think it's so empowering when you're making positive progress and you're tracking it and you're seeing it. You know, one of the most empowering things that I can say I see when it comes to financial literacy and working with people is seeing their credit score rise. Again, you don't need a lot of money to impact your credit score. So when people are establishing that and their credit score is rising slowly but surely, that is so empowering. When you have a good credit score, you don't mind letting people know. You know what I mean? So I think doing that, tracking that progress really is so empowering, and is a great way to keep people on track to continue to make these strides towards financial empowerment. And yeah, the same thing with the tracking the progress, you know, visualizing achievement. You know, those apps are great. There's many apps that really help with that, really helps with watching like Credit Karma. I suggest Credit Karma. Now, Credit Karma, disclaimer, it is not a FICO score, it's a Vanguard score. FICO is the standard credit score system that the major 3 bureaus use. However, Credit Karma used something that is similar but different called Vanguard. And the reason why I like Credit Karma is because Credit Karma is a free service, for one. For two, it gives you a roundabouts where you're at. Yes, if you pull up your FICO score and your Vanguard score may be a little higher, or your FICO score may be a little higher, but it's around the same area. So at least you get an idea, and it also helps you see debt that you may have had or have. You know, you may see defaulted utility bill, which is one of those things that really hold impact, that really, you know, hurts credit scores. You know, seeing those debts that you may have defaulted on is necessary in creating that plan to eliminate debt, to pay down debt. So I definitely like to use Credit Karma. They also have Mint, which relies on FICO, which essentially does the same thing. But these different apps, it's all preference, but me personally, I recommend Credit Karma just because I've had success signing people up. It's free, and it's a great way to see where you're at. And that leads us to this, you know, empowering finances with technology. You know, for those individuals that we serve that are tech savvy, I think, you know, having access on your phone to do many different things through finances is an awesome tool. You know, are tools that can be used on your journey up to a financial empowerment. So here's a few. I actually looked this up the other night. I wish I put this on a slide, but I could always share these platforms. But I have them here. So I mentioned before Mint. Mint also helps you with budgeting, tracking your expenses, which you could actually connect your bank account to through Mint to see the things that you buy, your income, expenses, and setting financial goals. There's also another budgeting app called You Need a Budget, YNAB, and that also focuses on budgeting, income, and emphasizing financial accountability. Now, based off the people that we serve, a very popular online banking platform is Chime. There's no hidden fees and easy access for those that are in check systems, again, which is a system that is across many banks that see if you overdrafted or had a closed account at one bank, you may not be able to go, if you had a overdraft closed account at bank A, bank B can see it through check systems, and then they would deny you access to a checking account. So many people that go through that sign up for Chime. I personally don't have any reference points with Chime. I've never used Chime, but many of my clients have, and it's been something that they see useful. And when they're working, they're also able to put direct deposit or connect direct deposit to their Chime. So that also helps them avoid those check cashing places. And there's the same thing for another one called Ally Bank, ALLY Bank also does the same thing. Now, I know we're talking about investment platforms. I kind of hinted to Robinhood. Robinhood is something that I am very familiar with. I've had Robinhood for many years now, and it's pretty good. I think it's a very user-friendly app, and you can take, and I don't like to say small amount, but in context, you can take a few dollars, a small amount of money, and invest into the stock market. Robinhood a few years ago got into crypto. You can invest into crypto, Bitcoin, things like that, and I think it's one of those things that I am a big advocate for, because back to teaching financial education or literacy to not only adults but to youth. I think youth has a greater grasp on technology and an understanding how the stock market works, and trading on the stock market, becoming a daily trader, whether you're a full-time daily trader or someone that does it in passing, is definitely a great way to secure income. And it provides access, right? It gives the people that we serve another avenue of income, and essentially we're teaching people how to fish. I always say, and maybe I should have said this earlier, but I don't think it applies, but I always say that me or my staff are not financial advisors. So I think that's one of the things when we're talking about Robinhood, or the next one I'm going to talk about, Acorn. We're not financial advisors. I am never going to tell someone what they should invest in. What I will do is show you the platform, show you how it works, show you the benefits, the user-friendly attributes to that app. But to tell you to invest in Bitcoin will not come out of my mouth. You ain't gonna get me on that. Tell me, I done lost all my money messing with Kev. No, not me. So, so I'm very, very cautious of that, and I think you should be as well. It's just, it's one of those things where we're just showing people the fishing rod, the bait, the reel, the line, how to cast. After that, you choose what ocean you want to go into, you choose what water you want to go into, you choose what type of fish you're looking for. But the bare minimum basics on how to is the idea when it comes to this education. Personal finance management, tools for wealth management like Personal Capital or Pocket Guard are very popular. And then finally, credit score monitoring with Credit Karma and Tally, Tally. All these different apps are accessible through the App Store or through the Google Store, and they're great ways to educate yourself and put some skin in the game, when we're talking investing, or just saving and budgeting and planning, and finding ways to cut costs. Sometimes when we're going through things or we're looking to get to a certain point, we may have to sacrifice for a time being. I don't want financial literacy to ever imply that you shouldn't enjoy life. you definitely should, but I just think in reason. And what is your situation? How does it look? Where are you looking to go? Okay, you may need to cut this out for the next 6 months. But after the 6 months and after you hit your goal, then you could bring this back into your life. So, I think those are very doable things. That discipline is definitely necessary, and that slight sacrifice for a short moment of time for impact for a long period of time. So one of the things, one of the people that I really strategies for net management. One of the things that one of the people in this space, in terms of financial education, that I've enjoyed watching or reading their books is Dave Ramsey. I think Dave Ramsey provides a real great way to eliminate debt, which is the snowball method. Essentially, for the snowball method, he takes the smaller debts first. So if you have, 5 different sets of debt, whether it's credit card, unpaid utility bills, a plethora of different others, paying the minimum on each, and then taking the smallest amount, paying that off, and then whatever that minimum was, you then take that after that small amount is paid off, and take that, then apply that to the minimum amount, and then that extra money goes onto the second smallest or the second largest debt. And then after you pay that off over time, you take those 2 payments, and then the minimum payment you pay for the third one, and you pay all 3 of those at the same time. And that's called the debt snowball method. Just a way to not to be so overwhelmed, which is easier said than done. I think debt, owing someone or owing something, is very overwhelming. Anxiety all day, all night. That's one of those things that just isn't a great feeling, right? So I'm a big advocate of that, because that's also a nice way to see progress. When you're, okay, I knocked this one down, now I'm on to the second one. Oh, a couple months later, I knocked this one down, now I'm on to the third one. And when you start seeing that progress, that empowers you. High interest debt. I think it all depends on your situation. I think in a perfect world, you pay off the highest interest debt, but sometimes, especially with credit cards, those are usually your highest interest debt credit cards. So you may have a utility bill that is smaller. So I would suggest paying that off. Not only smaller, but doesn't have nearly the interest accumulated, if any, minus late fees. So I would suggest paying that smaller one off and then hitting the higher interest debt. But if you have it, then of course pay off the high interest debt, because you don't want to keep paying, because that's the nature of credit cards. It's a business. If you have good credit, or if you've been getting some credit cards in the past years or months, credit cards will be coming to your house left and right. And they're doing that so you can get into a hole, so then you are paying the bare minimum and they're making money off of you. That goes all the way back to the beginning of this presentation, when we talked about I lost my train of thought. We talked about debt and the I lost my train of thought. But anyway, so the interest, you want to pay the highest interest if you have it, but if you don't have it, then you may just need to stay at the minimum. That's what it was. Keeping a balance. Sorry about that. But keeping a balance, how that's a myth. To keep a balance is a good thing. That's what they want you to do. They don't want you to be at 30%. They want you to be at 95% credit utilization, So now you're paying $300 a month for your credit card bill, and $280 of it is interest. So you're never knocking the principal down substantially. It's a business. Again, a credit card, I consider it a hammer. You can either build a house and build credit with a credit card, or you could demolish a house with a hammer or a credit card. So, you know, you want to be mindful, because those interest rates could be 20, 25%, 27%, high interest rates. And, you know, sometimes when you really break it down, was that thing you purchased worth the squeeze that you now are in? And a lot of times it isn't. Graphical debt journey, I think that's, again, back to visualization. I think when you see the progress, it's so empowering. So when you see your debt getting smaller, I think that's an awesome way to encourage and to empower and to keep stay on track, you know, and that's in a perfect world. You know, we deal with clients that things happen, and we it's our job to provide grace, and it's also our job to encourage them. And I think when you can visually see those triumphs and those successes, that's a really good feeling, and that's a feeling that we want to instill in our clients, so they can continue to move forward and they continue to be positive and continue to, you know, see these successes and experience financial empowerment. Now, also before I go there, I do want to say, in a perfect world, if you could automate your payments for your bills, I think that's also a great tool. I know for me, that really helped me stay disciplined. You know, sometimes we don't have the capacity to do it, you know, especially when we're saying, like someone said earlier, and I've definitely been there, go and check the check. Sometimes we can't pay something on time because we gotta move some things around, and we're gonna pay it, but we're gonna pay it late because we gotta pay this first. So that's just sometimes the nature of the beast, so I get it. But if we're able to establish automating payments, I think that's a great way to pay bills on time, to establish a relationship with lenders or with financial institutions or any of the above, to then, you know, build on that foundation of financial empowerment. And then, you know, putting in debt payments into the budget, you know, making that a priority. You know, obviously you can't sacrifice your cost of living, but if we're able to sacrifice to pay off these debts for the greater good, for a brighter and longer future, then sometimes we have to make those sacrifices. So this is the one thing that I'm also an advocate for, you know, building a safety net, savings and emergency funds. One thing that for me, I think one of the things when working with clients is, you know, they don't have any money right now. I get that. But for me, once you establish any income, whether that's, you know, SSI every month, once you establish anything, pay yourself first. I think that has to be done. Because other than that, we're going to stay in the same situation. And paying yourself first doesn't have to be a lot of money. You know, it could be a few dollars, but it's just something that goes into a savings account. And again, that empowers you when you start to see that money build. I think that's something that we have to be advocates for, and understand that, okay, we're doing this budget. You know, you get this, let's just say $800 a month, and, you know, your bills are $750. You know what I mean? $10. You know, $10, putting $10 up every month. It may not seem like a lot, but when we start putting that $10 and we start investing in accounts that have compound interest, and seeing that money increase, and then increasing the amount you put in because your income is raising, those are empowering. And I think it's very important to build on savings and emergency funds. With emergency funds, I suggest 6 months of expenses to be saved. And that could take a long time. That's not a quick thing when it comes to saving 6 months of expenses. But that's usually the rule of thumb, to save 6 months in the case of something happen. Things, we all experienced COVID. No one's seen that coming, right? So things happen in life, and having that savings, having that emergency funds is imperative to quality of life. Someone mentioned it earlier. Oh, absolutely. Have a great day. Someone said it earlier that they have a separate account just in case something happens with their significant other, and that's a real thing. That's real life. And having these savings and having these things on the side could really be the difference to your quality of life if unfortunately you experience something like that. And as you see, I'm big on graphical growth and visualizing it. I think that's always a great way to show impact. And then I know we're getting short on time, so I'm gonna try to breeze through these because I know I want to leave some time for Q&A. Credit score education. I think for credit score education, it's really all right. You have a great day. I think credit score education is valuable. Understanding how credit works, understanding the 3 credit bureaus, understanding there's hundreds of credit bureaus. We just always lean towards the popular ones of TransUnion, Equifax, and it's escaping me right now. TransUnion, Equifax, and that's crazy. The other one, but the third one, those are the popular ones and the ones that most financial institutions lean towards. But there are actually a lot of smaller ones. Experian, Nicole, thank you, appreciate you. Experian, it's crazy too because I have the Experian app. I actually look at that a lot, but on my phone. But anyway, it's really good to understand credit scores, understand the 3 C's, credit, collateral, capital. Capital, the funding that you have saved, your retirement plans are considered capital. Character, how do you pay your bills on time? Do you pay your bills on time? Do you carry high balances on your credit cards? Those are considered character. And then credit, how much credit or how much credit you have out there, how much how high is your credit utilization? All these things play a factor into that credit score of up to 850. So, just understanding that's a whole nother presentation, but I did want to touch base on that. And understanding that, having that education, understanding how credit scores work, understanding the 3 C's, and understanding the pie, like how long you've had your credit card, how long you've had certain accounts, paying off accounts. Sometimes when you pay off an account, your credit score actually goes down, but it will then rise back up over time because you paid that off. Not closing credit cards. You have a credit card that's been open for 10 years, you pay it off, you're like, man, I don't want this credit card no more. I get more points on this other credit card. And actually shutting that credit card actually impacts your credit because now your credit history is impacted because you just lost 10 years on this card of having a credit history. So sometimes we want to keep those open and don't spend anything on it. Cut it up. You know how to get online, the phone numbers, the information, get to them, cut it up so you're not tempted, but you keep that open so now that reflects that you continue to have that credit history. Assessing community and government resources. I mentioned this before, I'll go through it real quick. Ticket to Work for Social Security is a great program. I know Columbus House has that program, and I know there's other entities throughout the state that have it. And introducing people to that, you could get a job, part-time job, to supplement your income. And I think that goes back to abundance. Like, let's maximize how much we could get a month. Let's not just get the bare minimum. Let's maximize that to get more, and even let's think about ways to even get more than what you're getting through benefits. So then you don't even need your benefits. Let's have those conversations of abundance. Roadmap, just having different resources. Tax assistance. I know CAS does that. VITA program. They're doing taxes for free. Social services, community programs like this. Like Winning Ways, you're very welcome. Is also we're here for that. Even so, where we're at right now, we don't have it open to the public. Our services. I'm always happy to take a phone call. I'm always happy to help someone to point them in the right direction. That's what we're here for. And again, just understand it's a lifelong journey. Empowerment or financial empowerment. Just continue to learn and to continue to go through that. So again, I think I just touched on this, so this is a repeat, so I'm going to keep on going. And then finally, a call to action. Our slogan at Winning Ways is Together We Win. We got some nice shirts that are coming out on the website. Another shameless plug, tap in. But that's our slogan. We want to work with the community. We want to empower our community, and that is a infinity sign, right? As we're giving, we're receiving, and everyone that we come across, our idea is to empower them so then they can pay it forward. Post-training action. What steps will you take to apply this insights and resources that you got today from this training? Going into, continue to educate yourself. I think that's very important. Bridging the gap between financial literacy, empowerment, and social healing in our community, making that a common thing, a part of the service plans, a part of services in general. I think that's imperative to provide access. The commitment to change, connecting clients to resources that will assist them in their journey of financial empowerment, I think is incredibly important. And then, collaborating, strengthening your network of support, having those resources and those networkings and those individuals that are in this space that can assist you in many different ways, but ultimately to have an impact on the people that we serve. So with that said, that is my presentation. I really appreciate you all for taking the time to listen to me ramble. But I'm greatly appreciative, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my passion and to share, the things that I believe are needed in our community. So if you have any questions, by all means. And thank you to everyone in the comments. I appreciate it.
We'll take a couple questions because we still have Hillary who's going to go next. So if there are a couple questions for Kevin before we move. I want to say that it was a very powerful presentation. I was getting some emails in the background telling me, we got to do more with Kevin. We've got to bring Kevin in for a couple of our other initiatives. So you sparked some interest and you shared a lot of resources. And we'll make sure your materials are available to people. Yes. Any final questions from the group? Oh, Hillary has her hand up. Hillary, would you like to make a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to say how amazing that was. That was just really wonderful. I've never experienced a presentation like that before, and just like the exercises and the reflections, it just made me realize just how few spaces there are where people can be very open and honest about their financial situations and the challenges that they've had, and just how profound that was, a conversation, and then all of the information you provided was really wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and everyone in the comments. Thank you, Hillary. Colette, as always, you know I appreciate you, and Sheila. Just thank you. You know, this is my passion, it's my life. This is what I do. So to do this is surreal and appreciative. It never gets old. I'll tell you that. It never gets old. So thank you.
You're getting a lot of love in the chat box, so I think people were very, very pleased with how this went, and I want to once again thank you for joining us, thank you for sharing your knowledge and your insight, and it was just a wonderful presentation. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
I'm gonna now introduce Hillary, because when we're getting ready for the holidays, as I started at the beginning, we all need to make sure we're taking care of us. So I'm so excited to introduce Hillary. Now I don't know, you'd think I'd know how to say your last name, Rudner?
Rudenauer. It's a mouthful.
There you go, it was easier than it looked. I think a lot of folks do know Hillary. I know I do, and she is a teacher of mine. I've taken Reiki classes with her, but she is a Reiki master teacher, certified postpartum doula, 500-hour Kripalu yoga teacher, and owner of The Mindful Mama. She has worked at the intersection of mental health and holistic healing for over a decade. Hillary combines her lived experience as a trauma survivor with her professional training and expertise. She was involved in numerous sessions, classes, and training. She is grateful